What's up, y'all? So I'm going to be showing you how I made my version of a stash jar made out of a stuffed animal. So I got this Togetherness Care Bear from Walmart. It was about maybe $15. Apparently it's supposed to be an exclusive that's available to Walmart only. But anyway, I was in the store and decided to get this one in particular. So the first thing you do is you take it out the box, of course, and the very first step is to get that string loose from around the neck. So you're going to be cutting very slightly and stretching and pulling the bear to try and reveal those stitches so you can cut them and loosen them. I would use my fingers as much as possible, more than using a sharp tool, because you don't want to accidentally damage the bear. Once you have that head off, you're going to take about half of the stuffing out of the body, and you're going to get yourself a 12-ounce nesting mason jar. These mason jars in particular have a curved body. It's smaller at the bottom and wider at the top. And the next step I did for creating my version of this stash jar was basically adding my logo to the inside of the lid. So I have these metallic logos and I am going to attach it to the lid. But before I actually secure my logo to the lid, I'm going to hot glue it together so that it remains secure until I'm ready to put resin on it. But these jars basically come with these lids that aren't all in one piece, so you definitely have to glue it to make sure it stays for this project. So to continue on, you're going to be using fast set resin. This is very important because any normal resin would take maybe a half a day to a day to dry, and for this project you need it to dry as fast as possible. Before we go any further with this project, we are going to make sure that we have our mask ready and that we are using gloves. So now in prepping the resin, we want to make sure that we don't mix a lot. We do not need a lot of resin for this project. We are basically going to be coating the glass, and that does not take a lot. We do not want this project sopping wet. We want it to be just enough to adhere to the bear and to be tacky and sticky enough that everything stays in place, but we do not want it pooling or puddling in or around the bear. So moving quickly with this fast set resin, we want to add a layer of it to the inside of our jar lid to make our logo permanent. So we want to spread the resin evenly so that it touches just the inner perimeter of the edge that's on the inside. If it actually seeps outside of that perimeter, we're going to be going into territory where it'll start to be hard to actually close the lid. So we want to make sure that we keep that resin just inside of that perimeter, and to make sure we pop the bubbles, we're going to add a little bit of heat and we're going to set that to the side to cure. Moving on with this fast set resin, we're going to be moving as fast as possible because we don't want it hardening and curing on us while we're still using it. But we're going to go ahead and coat that mason jar with the fast set resin, covering the entire perimeter, making sure that everything is covered, and we're going to carefully and very carefully insert this jar inside of the body of the bear. So what you see me doing now is basically trying to figure out how I'm going to get the fabric of the bear to stay up at the lip of the jar. I have some non-stick foil here. I'm thinking that if I use this foil to wrap it around the jar and then maybe attach it with a rubber band that it'll be easy to remove and nothing would be stuck to it. But the foil didn't work out, so we're going to skip over that and basically just use the rubber band. So the resin is starting to set and it's becoming more tacky, and I'm able to move the fabric of the bear around and it actually stay in place. So I'll basically be pinching and molding the fabric of it so that there are no gaps, that you can't really see the glass on the inside, and basically making it look a little bit more natural. So while the resin is still tacky and before it completely hardens, I'm going to remove the rubber band so it doesn't get stuck, and I'm going to keep pinching and keep adjusting the fabric of the bear until it sits where it needs to without moving. So in the midst of making this, I decided that I wanted to customize it a little bit, and I'm going to add my logo ribbon to the bear to help hide some of the imperfections and some of the cut lines of where the jar and the head begins and ends. So I'm just going to wrap this around the bear right at the base of the opening and create a tie. So once we have that all together, we're going to set the body of the bear to the side and allow it to dry. Then we're going to move on into assembling the head. So with the head of the bear, we are basically going to take the cap and put it onto the body of the bear and basically mark where the front of that cap ends. So you're going to screw it on, and wherever it stops, you're going to mark the front of that lid with a marker. Once we have the front of that lid marked up, we're going to go ahead and mix up some fast set resin. So once you have the resin ready, you're going to go ahead and drizzle it on the inside, covering the entire surface of the cotton. And you're going to line up your cap with that line and have it facing the front of the head of the bear. This mark will basically let you know where the front of the lid is when you go to assemble it with the bear, so that every time you put the bear's head on, the head is facing forward. Once you have the cap inserted, you're going to gently go over the outer perimeter of the cap and just touch it lightly with some of that fast set resin so that the edges of the bear that was cut adheres to the edges of the cap and basically produces a seamless edge. So after a good 30 minutes or so, your bear should be completely dry. The head should be dry. There should be no soft parts. There should be no damp parts. It should be completely solid, and so should the body of your bear. So at this point, you can safely assemble the head, and it should screw on easily, and it should face the front once you screw it on, and that's exactly what we wanted. So we do see some imperfections where some of the jar is showing, but that is okay. The ribbon does actually help conceal some of that. So here it is. Let me know what you think and how you would use this in your own crafting or gifting or selling aspects. Here's is just another close-up of the bear. There's my logo. There's nice storage space. So yeah, this one is ready for sale. And I actually put it back in its original box, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp my logo into this gold seal and just basically apply it to the box as an Opulux Designs product. It has been completely personalized, and now it's ready to go up for sale.